Chapter 56. Veldora Pav. Right now, I am returning to Tempest from my stroll. I must say it was quite the stroll. Those puny humans were quite amusing, their reactions when they saw me were nothing short of hilarious. Truly, Rimuru knows how to find amusing things and cure boredom. When they beheld my glorious, magnificent, majestic, and mighty dragon form, they were unable to contain their shock and awe. It wasn't just shock. They were utterly terrified to the point that some of them died just from seeing me. Pathetic creatures. Chaos erupted across their lands as panic spread like wildfire. It was very amusing to see. In every corner of their cities, people ran in fear, screaming and scrambling for safety like bugs when they see their predators. Ha ha ha, their bustling marketplaces emptied in seconds, and their streets became chaotic with the desperate movements of terrified citizens. The leaders, too, were thrown into chaos, unable to maintain order or provide reassurance to their people, because they themselves were also too terrified to think. The sight of my majestic form sent waves of terror through their hearts, disrupting their lives and shattering their sense of security like a mirror. Their military forces were mobilized, but their efforts were in vain against my overwhelming presence. Of course, that was going to happen. I am the great mighty storm, Dragon Veldora Tempest, after all. Ku ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. The air was thick with fear that could be cut with a knife, and whispers of my return spread rapidly, causing widespread pandemonium. Any semblance of awe was completely overshadowed by their sheer panic and dread as they realized the true power and might of a true dragon. Such was the impact of me just making a small appearance. Just from their looks, I don't think they will do anything stupid like attacking our forest or anything. They are too terrified to do something like that. And even if they did, I would just annihilate them. Ku ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Well, now that I am near Tempest, I should return to my human form. If I don't, the residents of Tempest might be scared of me, and if a commotion breaks out, I am done for. Rimuru might just scold me, but Seal. I don't even want to think about it. Last time when I did something wrong, she punished me and gave me a good scolding. I still remember it, although only a little vividly. Her calm but stern voice, the cold, methodical precision of her words. She didn't just stop at scolding, she handed out a punishment that was both fair and unyielding. For days, I was tasked with the most tedious chores in the world, and for 5 straight years, she didn't even let me touch a manga, let alone read it. She made sure that I had plenty of time to reflect on my actions in an empty place. I get that I was in the wrong, but she didn't have to ban me from reading manga. Her anger was terrifying, scarier than my sister's when they used to educate me years ago. Despite all my power and experience, I'm scared of Seal. When she gets angry, it's like facing a force of nature. Her eyes seem to pierce right through you, and her words cut deeper than any sword. There's no escaping her judgment, and the memory of being on the receiving end of her anger still sends shivers down my spine. So, as much as I enjoy my glorious, magnificent, majestic, and mighty dragon form, I know better than to risk causing unnecessary trouble in Tempest and making her angry as to shift to my human form. The last thing I need is another one of Ciel's lessons. Transforming back, I feel my massive, powerful form shrinking down to the more familiar, less intimidating human shape. It's a bit of a letdown, losing that immense, majestic presence, but it's worth it to keep the peace with her. I still don't get how Bro is able to handle her. Marriage is scary. Milam is coming here. Why? Should I go look? Why not? Ku ha 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 ha. Let's go. Why are these people looking at her with hostility? I need to see what's going on. But if I go there and something happens, she will blame me again, and then I'll have to face Seal. Why does this have to be so hard? Whatever, I'll go. It's just as they say. Great things come with great risks. I'll go and see if there is something interesting going on. Third person Pav. With these thoughts, Veldora started to head in Milam's direction. As he neared the location, he saw a big crater, created by none other than Milam herself. It is true that Milam now has control over her powers, but right now she is in a bad mood, and that's why she didn't care that she made a crater. As he went near the crater, he saw that Milam was in the middle of it with a frustrated look on her face. There were also a few individuals surrounding her: Benimaru, Shion, Hakuro, Soe, Geld, and some other monsters. They were all showing hostility towards Milam. He also noticed that Diablo was there, hiding his presence completely to a degree that only beings with significant experience, such as he and Milam, could detect him. What is going on? Why is there a big crater in the middle like this? And why are they surrounding Milam like this? Are they planning to fight her? And why is Milam making that kind of face? Is she angry about something? Hell no, if they attack her right now, she wouldn't think twice before snapping on them. And why is Diablo standing there, letting it happen? Ah, I see, so that's how it is, huh? He wants to see how they will do in front of someone like Milam when she's ready to kill them. Clever idea, but isn't he going a little too far? I mean, if Buddy finds out, it won't end well. Well, whatever, it's none of my problem. I'll just take my leave. Like hell, I can do this. If Rimuru finds out that I saw his subordinates in this kind of situation and let it happen, he will kill me. But I can't let myself get into this. I don't want to get myself involved in this mess. If I get involved, then I am sure Seal will definitely kill me. I don't want that. What should I do? If I leave them as it is, I'll get into trouble, and if I don't leave them, I'll also get in trouble. What am I supposed to do? I can't even pretend that I was still outside the forest and never returned because I am sure that Rimuru is well aware of everything. Why do these kinds of things always happen to me? Am I cursed? Wait, that's not what I need to think right now. I don't have any option but to see what will happen, so I'll have to make the most out of it. So, what should I do now? Yes, I know. If I make my entry now and defend them by defeating Milam, then that would be such an epic scene. Ha, let's do it. No, think, Veldora. Seal will do something worse to you, like taking your unique skill entertainer and blocking any means of reading manga for you. It will be better to leave and face Rimuru, it will be less cruel than Ciel's punishment. But again, in order to gain something, one must be ready to sacrifice something. I can handle a little punishment for such a grand and glorious entrance. I can handle some punishment. It's decided. I'll intervene, but first, let them take some damage, or else it won't be as effective as it should be. With these thoughts, Veldora quietly started to observe what was happening and waited for the perfect timing to appear. He watched closely, assessing the situation and preparing for the moment when he could make his dramatic and supposedly epic entrance. The tension in the air was too much as the confrontation happened, and Veldora knew that his chance to shine was coming soon. And just as Veldora predicted, they all soon attacked Milam, but it was futile because Milam beat all of them without much effort, she barely did anything. Now, all of them are on the ground with considerable damage. Even though everyone has improved significantly, and Benimaru and Xian have already surpassed the awakened stage without even awakening themselves, it was still nothing in front of Milam. She barely did anything, yet they all got defeated. This happened because of a few factors, such as the lack of ultimate skills, the lack of attack power, and, most importantly, because Milam is a natural catastrophe and an existence far above anything and can be matched by only a few individuals. If they had ultimate skills, they could have made her put some effort into beating them because she is an ultimate skill holder herself. As a result, the attacks of beings who don't have any ultimate skills are practically harmless to her because unique skills have no effect on ultimate skills. Even if she didn't have any ultimate skills, she herself is an ultimate existence, and her natural power is far beyond something like ultimate skills, which can only be matched by something comparable, such as true dragons are an existence similar or equivalent to that. Her inherent strength, power, and abilities are beyond anything normal, which place her on a different level entirely, making it nearly impossible for anyone without similar power to challenge her effectively. Another factor is their lack of sufficient power. To inflict even a little damage on Milam, one must use an attack that is at least capable of destroying an average galaxy inside the cardinal world, but even that attack would only scratch her. And if she is serious, it would just tickle her. Note: I am not nerfing Benimaru, Xian, and others by making them get beaten like this because Milam is genuinely on a different level than they are. It was only natural for her to handle them like children. As the dust settled and the defeated warriors lay sprawled across the ground, Veldora decided it was time to make his entrance. He could feel that non-existent adrenaline pumping through his non-existent veins as he prepared to make his entrance in the most dramatic fashion possible. Taking a deep breath, he channeled his immense power, causing the air around him to crackle with energy. The space around him started to disrupt. With a booming roar that echoed across the landscape, Veldora soared into the sky, transforming midair into his magnificent dragon form. His scales shone in the bright sunlight, and his massive wings spread wide, casting a shadow over the entire field, giving the others a sense of relief and security. The ground trembled under the force of his landing, creating another crater beside the one Milam had made. However, his crater was much bigger, spanning a massive area and showcasing the sheer power and intensity of his dragon form. The impact sent shockwaves through the earth, causing nearby trees to sway and boulders to scatter through the surroundings. Dust and debris flew into the air, creating a dramatic backdrop as Veldora's colossal dragon form settled into the newly formed crater. His landing wasn't just a display of strength, it was a statement. The size of the crater, dwarfing Milam's, emphasized his dominance and the raw, untamed power that he wielded. The ground beneath them shook, and the atmosphere was charged with his overwhelming presence. This was a display of grandeur that few could ever hope to match, a reminder of why Veldora was revered and feared as the storm dragon. Seeing the impact of his entrance, Veldora smiled, satisfied with the result. But to the onlookers, that smile looked far from satisfied, it looked vicious and terrifying. Ku-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha-ha, fear not, for the great mighty storm dragon Veldora Tempest has arrived. His voice thundered through the air, reverberating in the ears of all present with a thunderous boom. The sheer intensity of his presence intimidated everyone, momentarily making them forget their own battles and injuries. Milam's eyes widened in surprise, a mix of amusement and curiosity flickering across her face. However, her previous frustrated look quickly returned just as fast as it had vanished. The onlookers, including Benimaru, Shion, Hakuro, Soe, and Geld, looked up in awe and confusion. Their hostility was momentarily replaced by astonishment, awe, and newfound respect for Veldora. But there was one certain black demon who had an entirely different impression. He just slapped his head with his arm in exasperation. Why, Veldora-sama, why now? Of all times, why now? It was going according to plan. It was supposed to help them grow mentally and spiritually. Why did you decide to intervene now? For now, I should observe what happens and intervene when necessary, these were Diablo's thoughts. Veldora, in his glorious moment, descended gracefully. His massive dragon form began to shrink, scales retracting and wings folding, as he transformed back into his human form. When he landed in the center of the craters, the ground beneath him cracked under the weight of his residual power. A gust of wind blew outward, scattering dust, debris, and boulders in all directions. The sheer force of his presence caused the earth to tremble. As he stood tall, the remaining dust settled around him, creating a dramatic, almost ethereal scene just as he wanted. His human form, though smaller, radiated an intimidating presence of raw, untamed power. After swiftly landing, Veldora started to head towards Milam, all the while trying to be as intimidating as he could in an attempt to make a very good impression. After all, he was taking a risk here with a very good chance of getting into trouble. With each step he took, the ground beneath him trembled, sending vibrations through the planet. The very planet seemed to shake in response to his presence. Dust and boulders danced around his feet, and the air crackled with energy. His eyes, glowing with fierceness, were fixed on Milam as he approached, exuding an aura of raw, untamed power that demanded attention and respect. The onlookers, including Benimaru, Shion, Hakuro, Soe, and Geld, remained in awe, their eyes wide with a mix of astonishment and respect for the storm dragon, just as Veldora wanted. Even Diablo, a usually composed and aloof guy, couldn't help but feel exasperated at Veldora's dramatic display. The sheer force of Veldora's presence was impossible to ignore, creating an atmosphere charged with anticipation and tension. Milam, still in the center of the crater, watched him intently. Her expression never changed as she observed Veldora approach her in a dramatic way, trying to intimidate her, but it didn't affect her in the slightest. Milam, my niece, Veldora called out, his voice now calmer than before but still carrying an undeniable authority that only superior beings have. You've had your fun, but it's time to put an end to these cruel deeds of yours. We don't want to destroy everything, do we? If you do any more than this, then he will be angry with both you and me. Veldora said the first part as if he was addressing a villain. However, as he said the second sentence, the tone of his voice changed, but it was only noticed by two individuals present there, Diablo and Milam. After hearing him, Milam crossed her arms and puffed her cheeks in anger and frustration before replying. Don't talk about that jerk. How dare he be with another woman again? HMPH. And now I am in a very bad mood. You know what? I wanted to blow off some steam anyway. Good thing you came now. Now come and fight me. Milam said to Veldora. Right now, Milam is having mixed thoughts because the things that Velzard has told her only make her angry at Rimuru. Note. Right now, she is in Oni-chan complex mode and acting on its instincts, which involves seeing any woman who comes close to Rimuru as her enemy because she thinks they are there to take Rimuru away from her. However, this is only for short time because as soon as she comes into contact with Rimuru, she will return back to normal. After hearing her, there was a visible confusion in Veldora's face for a moment, but he discarded it because Milim had just challenged him. This was a very good opportunity for him because now he could fight someone strong, as well as show his awesome moves to these people and show off a little too. The best thing is, even if damage happens, he won't be getting blamed because Milim is the one who challenged him. He chuckled, his eyes gleaming with mischief. He, a fight, you say? I initially came here to save these poor souls from your wrath. After all, someone has to keep the balance, right? And to do that, if I need to fight you, then so be it, I'll fight you. Veldora chuckled, his eyes gleaming with mischief as he replied to Milim. His intention is to make it seem to onlookers that Milim is the villain and Veldora the hero, while simultaneously ensuring that the witnesses understood that Milim had initiated the fight. As he spoke, he spread his haki and created a protective barrier around Benimaru and the others, shielding them from any further harm. Milim's eyes narrowed, her aura flaring in response to Veldora's words. She launched herself at him with incredible speed, her fist aimed directly at his face. However, Veldora blocked the attack with ease, meeting her fist with his own. The collision of their fists sent shockwaves through the area, causing the ground to crack and nearby trees to sway violently. Is that all you've got? I expected more from the mighty destroyer. Veldora taunted, grinning, his voice echoing with confidence. Milim responded to his taunts with a barrage of punches and kicks, each one more powerful than the last. However, Veldora matched her blow for blow with precision, their movements so fast that they were invisible to the onlookers. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and the land started to split. Pathetic, Milim said, a bored smile on her face. Pathetic, you say? Then what do you think of this? Veldora replied, delivering a powerful kick to her back that sent her crashing into the ground. Milim quickly recovered from Veldora's attack, standing back to her feet with a new expression on her face. The previously frustrated and bored expression now changed to one of annoyance and excitement. She was annoyed by Veldora, but she also started enjoying the fight. With this newfound excitement, she charged at Veldora again, this time summoning her draconic energy to enhance her attacks. Her fists glowed with pink light, and each punch created a sonic boom as it traveled through space, cutting through the air. In response, Veldora summoned his own elemental powers. He created a whirlwind around himself, using gusts of wind to deflect Milim's attacks. The two fighters continued to clash, their energies creating a storm of power that illuminated the sky and shook the earth. As they exchanged blows, their surroundings were engulfed in a maelstrom of energy and light. Onlookers watched in awe as these two titans clashed, their battle reaching a new level of power and fury. Not bad, Milim. Not bad, but you'll need to do better than that to defeat me. Veldora shouted over the top of his lungs while deflecting her punch. Is that so? Then how about this? Milim grinned, her eyes sparkling with excitement. True to her words, she unleashed a devastating energy blast from her palms aimed directly at Veldora. But it was futile, as he countered with his own energy beam. The two attacks met in a blinding explosion of light and sound. The force of the explosion created a massive crater in the ground, sending shockwaves that were felt for miles. As the dust settled, both fighters were still standing, without much of a scratch. They exchanged a knowing look, telling each other that they had to finish it up as soon as possible because at any moment Rimuru could appear. You're as strong as ever, Veldora, but I've had enough. Milim said, dusting some dirt from her clothes. Same goes for you, Milim, Veldora replied nonchalantly. Milim unleashed a series of rapid strikes infused with her dragon knuckle technique, each punch generating a sonic boom. Veldora countered with his new technique that he has yet to name, a technique that allowed him to deflect her blows with minimal effort, redirecting the energy back at her. The air around them crackled with energy, and sparks flew as their energies clashed. As their battle raged on, it became clear that both were not drawing their full power. They didn't even use any energy, only exchanging blows with some energy-based attacks here and there. Milim's attacks were fueled by her raw strength and aura, creating explosions of force with every hit. Veldora, on the other hand, showcased his mastery of elemental control, summoning powerful gusts of wind and torrents of water to counter Milim's onslaught. They continued to exchange powerful attacks, neither gaining a clear advantage. The intensity of their battle grew, the sheer force of their strikes causing the protective barrier around Benimaru and the others to tremble and pulse. Each impact sent ripples through the barrier, but it held firm. From a distance, Diablo watched the fight with keen interest, aware of the skill and strength of both fighters. He could see that both were enjoying the battle, but he also recognized the potential danger if it continued unchecked. I think my time to step in is nearing, Diablo muttered to himself, preparing to intervene if necessary. But for now, he observed, ready to act if the situation escalated further. He knew he couldn't stop either of them, much less both together. But at the moment, they weren't fighting seriously or using much power. So, for the time being, he could stop them. He also had a few tricks up his sleeve. As their battle raged on, Milim and Veldora both began to tap into more power. Energy crackled around them, illuminating the surroundings with a dazzling display of light and power. Finally, Milim took a step back, still grinning. You're good, Veldora, but this isn't over yet. This should be for the time being, we should stop after this, so prepare yourself. I won't cut loose in this attack. Milim said to Veldora, knowing full well that this is as far as they can go at this time. Veldora, knowing exactly what she meant, nodded, all the while smiling from ear to ear. Indeed, Milim, let's see who can outlast the other's attack, Veldora said with an excitement-filled voice, ready to unleash a devastating attack at any moment. With that, they launched themselves at each other once more, fists backed by their respective energies, ready to attack. They had put as much strength as they could into their fists, knowing that this would be their last attack of the fight. The ground beneath them tore apart as Milim and Veldora charged at each other, their fists glowing with raw, concentrated energy. The space around their fists started to crack, and the onlookers could barely keep their eyes open due to the intense light emanating from their fists. Take this, Milim punch, Milim roared, her fist leaving distorted space behind with a trail of pink energy as it surged towards Veldora. Bring it on, Milim. Veldora bellowed back, his own fist glowing with a radiant blue aura that spread chaos through space and time. As the tension peaked, with their fists were about to collide, something unexpected happened. Honestly, I just leave you alone for a moment, and you do all of this. In the middle of their fierce battle, with their fists about to collide, containing enough energy to destroy entire continents, an angelic voice echoed throughout the battlefield. For a moment, it seemed that everything had stopped, as if time itself had paused. Following the voice, a loud sound of someone hitting someone echoed, and both Veldora and Milim were sent flying in opposite directions. They crashed into the ground with tremendous force, creating two new craters, which covered the entire area that had been damaged during their fight. The impact kicked up clouds of dust, blocking everyone's view. As the dust settled, Rimuru Tempest, the king of all existence, could be seen floating at the place where Veldora and Milim had been just a moment ago. He was wearing black pants and shoes, while his entire upper body was bare, revealing his divine and well-defined physique. Rimuru's appearance was nothing short of mesmerizing, exuding an aura of authority and majesty. His skin was flawless, glowing with an ethereal light that spoke of his immense power and celestial origins. His hair, reaching a little more than his lower back, had a striking silver-blue color, flowing like liquid starlight, reminiscent of the night sky. It flowed with a mesmerizing elegance, as if guided by the celestial winds. His face, a blend of masculine and feminine beauty, was both handsome and beautiful, embodying male yet female perfection. His glowing golden eyes, deep and mesmerizing, held the wisdom of ages and the kindness of a deity. They glowed with a serene yet commanding presence, while simultaneously radiating immense power, which made everyone kneel and submit to him instinctively. Veldora, Milim, what are you two doing? Rimuru's voice was firm but there was with a hint of concern. You could have caused some serious damage, not just to each other, but to everyone here, he continued, descending down to the ground like a god descending upon the mortal realm from the heavens. Sorry, bestie, it's this old man's fault he dragged me into this. Yes, Veldora is the one who caused this, I am innocent here. I just came here to see you. Putting all the blame on Veldora, Milim rushed to Rimuru's side. Hey, don't lie, you were the one who started all this. Didn't you say something about wanting to blow off some steam? Now don't put all the blame on me. Rimuru, I have witnesses, you can ask them. Veldora explained in his defense as he got up and pointed towards Benimaru and others for their testimony. But to his shock, now turned dismay, no one opened their mouth, much less talked. It was because Milim was glaring holes into them. Ah, wah, hua, hfa. What? Why, how? You stop doing that, don't scare them and let them speak. Veldora, with a gobsmacked expression, looked between the witnesses and Rimuru, unable to speak due to his inability to comprehend what was happening. After a while of gibbering, he managed to gather his thoughts and started to yell at Milam, who was now hiding behind Rimuru as he pointed his finger at her accusingly. "I don't know what you're talking about." Foo, Milam replied, attempting to whistle but utterly failing. Seeing their behavior, Rimuru just sighed, shaking his head in exasperation. "I understand the need to let off some steam, but there are better ways to do it without risking everyone's safety. Next time, find a more appropriate place for your sparring matches." For the time being, Rimuru decided to settle things with just scolding them because right now he is in a good mood. After scolding them a little, he shifted his focus on others, not wanting to deal with their antics anymore. It was a good warm-up, though, right Milam? Veldora, still dusting himself off, muttered. "Yeah, it was," Milam replied in a very low voice, although it was heard by Rimuru, but he just ignored them. The gathered onlookers, including Benimaru and Diablo, relaxed, relieved that the conflict had ended without further destruction. "Thank you, Rimuru-sama. Your timing, as always, is impeccable. I don't think there is any need to tell who he is." Diablo stepped forward, his usual calm demeanor unchanged as if nothing had happened. Rimuru nodded towards him and shifted his attention towards others, knowing full well that if he gave any more attention to him, then he would just start to sing his praises to no end, and he doesn't want to deal with that, certainly not. So ignoring him, he looked at the devastation around them. "All right, everyone, let's all take this as a lesson. There are better ways to channel our energies and settle disputes without resorting to such destructive measures," he said, his voice carrying a tone of wisdom. The onlookers murmured in agreement, understanding the gravity of Rimuru's words. They knew that while conflict is inevitable, there are ways to handle it responsibly and without endangering others. After hearing Rimuru's words, the tension dissipated. As the tension subsided, Rimuru turned to address Benimaru, Geld, Shion and the others and healed them. "Let's clean up this mess, repair the damage, and treat the injured. And Veldora, Milam, we'll have a long chat later," he ordered his men, his voice calm but authoritative, and started to leave. As they began to restore the battlefield, Rimuru's presence reassured everyone that balance had been restored. Milam and Veldora, despite their scolding, couldn't help but exchange a grin, confident that they will not be punished for anything since Rimuru only said that he will talk later. But oh, God, they are totally wrong about it because Rimuru has a very good punishment for them in mind. "Next time, I'll definitely win," Milam whispered to Veldora. "We'll see about that," Veldora replied with a wink, and they both started to follow Rimuru, who, after looking around a little, teleported to his house. To be continued.